am your DM Ben Competence, running the Odyssey of the Dragonlords. And here are the Dragonlords. Say hello, Dragonlords.
Hello,
Um,
Dragonlords.
Hello,
Hello.
Dragon Lords.
Ominous, beautiful, wonderful. And I see we already have some friends in the chat. Gamerbot, hello. Recursive Taco, hello. Stolen Fires, I know each of you wonderful souls. We have a humdinger of an episode today for fans of Ace Attorney and Crying. So, hello. Let me. I think is the music bright enough for the mood? Okay. A real rip snorter Gamerbot says, yeah. If you saw the previous episodes, yeah, this is just going to be a do-do-do. We are doing Odyssey of the Dragonlords. It is a Greek mythology-inspired D&D campaign that takes place on the continent of Thylia. And 500 years ago, the gods and titans led wars over the fate of certain peoples on Thylia, the traveler races that had made their way here. An oath of peace was struck, a truce that would limit any hostilities to an extent for about 500 years. We are almost at the time. There are how many days left, Jen?
36.
There are 36 days left until the oath expires. One of the key rules of the oath being that the gods and titans were never to raise arms to each other directly and to never take hostile action towards one another. 2 sessions ago, this was broken for the first time in 500 years. Pythor, god of battle and defender of the traveler races, got in a bit of a scrap against Sidon, the Titan of Lightning, when defending his daughter, Kiki. Raise your hand, Kiki. So now, we don't go directly into anything, but we know that very soon there will be a trial to determine the fate of Pythor and Sidon, who both broke this rule. But this story is not about them. It is about 4 heroes that are destined to change this continent and the world forever. I'm going to call off 4 names chosen at random. When I pick you, introduce yourself and your character, and then in honor of President's Day, I will ask you, who would you like, if the current rulers of Mitros, the capital city, were removed, who would you want to be leading Mitros and thusly Thylia? I rolled a 3, which goes to Tammy.
Well, that's me. So
Yes.
I'm Tammy, and I play Kiana, or Kiki to her friends. I don't think there's anybody right now that is calling her just Kiana.
Pythor
So
sometimes.
I think we're doing. Yeah, but he's okay. He does have permission to call me Kiki, so I'm okay with that. So I'm a Triton barbarian fighter and daughter of Pythor, obviously, so therefore a demigoddess. And like Euphemian says in the chat, what's president? What's a president? What's a President's Day? But I think now this is what we think or what our character thinks.
On what who your character would nominate, I would say.
Okay, Kiki would totally nominate Euphemian.
All right. I like to say, why?
He's a smooth talker.
Oh, okay.
But he's smart and he makes sense and he could do good.
I love this idea. Next we're gonna go with Jen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jennifer. I play Crayrin, the Wood Elf monk. Pow! Uncle to Arcades. Yeah.
The
you
Dragon
know what,
Arcades,
honestly,
to clarify.
The Dragon Arcades, yeah. You know, honestly, I thought we were talking about people in, like, real life. So I was thinking of Stephen Colbert.
Holy crap.
I love this idea. Okay, Stephen, we're going to put a Stephen Colbert in the game. I think this is fantastic.
I think,
honestly, but if it was going to be Cray, knowing what he knows, it would probably be, like, I don't know, Vulcan or something, because he can always act crazy, but behind the scenes he's actually like fucking wicked smart and shit.
God of the
So.
Forge. I love it. Fantastic.
But Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert. Allie, you're up.
Hi, I'm Allie. I play Callista, who is a satyr bard warlock. And I think that Callista would nominate Enora.
Honora,
Oh.
interesting. That's a deep cut. If you have very core character for a little while, and then her chapter kind of closed, I think. But that is a fantastic. That is Kiki's half sister. Fantastic.
Keeping it in the family.
Why Honora? Just for the viewers to catch up.
Well, I don't want to let go of anyone in our group. And while Kyra is the most amazing person I know, I don't want her to get stuck. So Enora seems like the most qualified person we've met to lead a city who I don't have personal investment in not sticking on a throne.
Wonderful. And that leaves Reed.
Hi, I'm Reed. I play the human wizard / paladin, Euphemian. I mean, Euphemian is kind of against government in the first place, so that he would probably just pick a random dude off the street and go, guess what?
It'll be the meat man.
But failing that, if he had to specifically pick somebody, I think
I like that answer,
with,
just so you know.
I would probably go with Moxina.
Moxina.
Oh.
Why Moxina?
Well, she's proven to be extremely driven when she thinks that she's got a cause. She already knows the city inside and out. She's already well acquainted with all of the business and underworld aspects of that. And I know that she can be ruthless if she needs to be.
Wonderful. Excellent.
Wow, yeah. I was thinking, yeah. Stephen Colbert can be too, you know. Have you heard some of his, like, when people
I like that you
heckle
said that
him
like
and
you were
stuff?
defending it, like the shade. But go on, yeah.
No, that's awesome, actually.
That's
We're all
great.
like, ooh, that's actually a really, really good pick, yeah.
I'm putting Stephen Colbert in the campaign, and you think I'm joking, just come back in a few episodes.
Okay, everybody, you all heard it.
I'm gonna change his name his name a little bit to sound a little more Greeky.
Make a wiki.
Stolbear.
Make a wiki page now.
Every NPC we meet.
Reed, you want to mention? Reed, you want to mention the merch, and then I'm going to explain how the chat works for some newcomers, and then we're going to get to it.
All right. Well, we've got merch. If you do like our stream and you want to support us, you can go to our website, our store site. You can see Jen is modeling our lovely V-neck tee at the moment. And so that is just going to be popping up here in the chat in a moment. And for the sake of saying it out loud, that's streamlabs.com/rollforbull/merch. And
shout out to Recursive Taco for suggesting the name Stephen Colbugbear.
Oh my god, yes! That's
which
such a great
is
name.
just god tier wordplay. Am I logged in as Roll for Bull right now?
Apparently you are.
I meant that as Ben. Oh. Well, I don't have time to log out, so I'm apparently logged in as Roll for Bull today.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, so I mentioned that I would explain how the chat works. If you're here and you're new, it might be a little bit surprising. You've noticed that we are interacting with the chat in real time. We are not one of those D&D shows that doesn't read the chat, and you know that Mercer guy not really trying to make a show out of it, but we're actually doing something here. And so you're welcome to talk with us during the chat, and you can also use your Twitch chat points which are bacon, in order to give us give the players boosts and help. The chat is welcome to suggest things too, and also just ask questions. Like if you don't understand a plot point, you can ask us, and if it's someone who it's not their turn, they'll be glad to pitch in and give you the answer, whatever. We want you guys to feel involved, and I think we're currently up on the meter on 4 of the number of times that the chat has actually, I don't want to say saved because that sounds a little reductive for how badass our group is, but has definitely made a tangible difference with the group. So by all means, feel free to play. Community challenge 75% complete. Wonderful. And has anyone used the bacon as pocket sand like in King of the Hill? No one's used the bacon like pocket sand. If you're still getting caught up, do they have the episode where Kyra catches the bacon? Is that up there? Do you know?
Catches the bacon. I don't know.
Yeah. It was right after you guys were finishing the first trial and you were heading back.
Then I believe it might be, because the episodes that were missing end as we sort of finished up. We spoke with Xander. So
there was the period in time. I mean, obviously the cat's out of the bag now, but there's the period of time when you guys didn't know that this was the actual goddess Kyra, and one of you guys threw bacon at her, like at the back of her head, as like a joke, and she just reached and snatched it, and just like, because she did like a Dex 23 saving throw, and everyone was like, "I'm sorry," and that was
random lady. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember Allie's face was like, yeah, Craig, you like threw the bacon, and I said, okay, well, I don't remember exactly, but something like, yeah, she rolled a 23 on her Dex save, so it's here, and Allie was like, and that was before the reveal.
I liked her before I knew she was famous. I just want to say that.
That's fair. Stolen Fires. We did have ponies. Something happened to them. We'll
well,
get you
just
caught up.
one.
Just mine.
And now you have a new one, so it's okay.
We begin. I looked at the timer. I realized I'm going too long. A show of hands if you're ready for us to start. All right. Then deck of many things for everyone. I'll keep it in mind. Our heroes begin much where they left off last time on the Dryad. Their ship, one of the only ships in on the realm that can withstand the fury of Sidon, Titan of Thunder. I call him Titan, Thunder, and Lightning. And they're on their way to what they believe is the Island of the Fates. For many things, two of the heroes, raise your hand, have been told that their destiny can be better explained by meeting with the Fates, and that they can get many answers. As well, they can possibly force a change to the destiny itself. One hopes. Because I believe tonight is a visit from the Furies, if I have that correct. But right now you guys are on this ship, and I will let you guys do whatever you want to do until I've ruled that enough time has passed that the Furies are here, or you guys agree to fast forward to that part, which I'm sure you're eager to get to.
Yeah, eager.
I will just say the session opens with Laureus coming out and sitting on some of the steps of the ship, and just pulling out a pan flute and just playing a sort of gentle but warming tune, very clearly trying to volunteer to keep the morale up on the ship as the four of you are here. And it is anyone's action while we roll.
I think Euphemian will be sort of going through, working with Kyra, and sort of trying to get as much legal background under his belt as he can. See what points we have to argue on.
I like that. I want you to roll an investigation check with advantage.
Hey, that's a natural 20 for 24.
That is wonderful. Going through with Kyra in exchange for, I mean, we're not, I hate getting specific with times. I hate that. But in exchange for a good chunk of the morning, I will relay this nat 20 into any question you want to ask that can have a factual answer in the documents. Not like, how do we do this, but did this happen or something like that. If it could have possibly been any paper that Kyra would have on her, and you know how she works, you may ask me any question.
Okay.
You want to redeem that now or later?
One question?
Yeah, make it two. You got a crit.
Okay.
You can ask one now and one later. I don't know.
I think that's what I'll do. For the first question, that's going to be, I'm going to bring up my philosophy background.
Oh dear. Shit.
And
it's pulling out his college major.
well, Euphemian's pulling up his college major. I'm just a dumb art student. But Euphemian is going to be basically looking into the possibility that, based on the philosophy and the sort of the morality of the time, is it fair to argue that by the fact that both Kiana is Pythor's daughter, Pythor would therefore be compelled to protect her as a fact of self-defense?
I will say, looking through the documents, you are able to find precedent of an oath, of someone upholding an oath to, let's say, I'm going to say that someone, a worshiper of Sidon, a worshiper of Lutheria, killed a man in Mitros 100 years ago because she had actually sworn an oath to defend the name of Lutheria, and this was someone that besmirched it consistently and would argue in the street that we should not pay homage to the Titans. First of all, you should for a lot of reasons. But the general ruling is that it is the responsibility, is that oaths are seen as valid both for the Furies and for legal systems as being relevant to a court case, any trial. But I say that to say that the general consensus was that an oath is entered into by the person who made it, so it is their responsibility to reconcile it with existing laws.
But in this case, I'm specifically talking about the daughter-father relationship. Like in ancient Greek, your household is you. So.
Well, what I'm saying is, wait, I'm sorry. You're pulling up ancient Greek precedent for this?
I am. I studied by Xenophon, and I am not going to let this go to waste.
run this by me again, then. If you rolled a nat 20 and actually did real research into Greek philosophy for this, I want you to run that by me one more time.
Well, basically the.
Oh, hold on. Tammy, your microphone's picking up Reed at the same time, so we get like a double effect when he's talking.
Okay.
So
sorry about that.
Basically, what I'm saying is that in ancient Greek philosophy, your household is yourself. You are no separate from your sons and your daughters and all of that. So an attack on them would be considered directly an attack against yourself. And therefore, Pythor acts in self-defense.
I would say that you've seen precedent for this being used. God, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. You've seen precedent for this being used in the courts of Mitros and Thylia, which is to say the mortal physical realm. And most of those have been fashioned or inspired by the Furies and the Fates and the actual celestial laws of the land. Which is to say that you would see precedent that this would be relevant. It is not an excuse. It is very unlikely that this would just be like, oh, well, in that case, we're good. But it is a legal, is prescient the word? Relevant argument to bring up.
Factor.
It is a mitigating factor. Yes. Also, fuck you. God, I challenge D&D nerds to rules lawyering, and right after the OGL, they're primed. They've got this raw energy. I got nothing. All right. Do you want to redeem your second question now or later?
Not now. Later.
Okay. And we're just going to retcon whatever question you ask later. We're going to retcon as saying you found it right now and you're pulling it out then, like heist style.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to do here? Otherwise, I'm going to rotate to someone else.
Nope. I'm going to pass it on down the line.
All right. Who else would like to be doing something this morning? I'm gonna do it persona styles. I'm gonna let you all do a morning and then an afternoon, and then we're gonna go. I feel like that's fair. Callista, your turn.
So basically once I'm up, I want to go to the kitchen area and find my egg, which should still be sitting in the fire.
Yes.
And I basically want to bring Bullbug with me and just kind of sit with him, and I'm just gonna kind of like talk through what happened with him as I'm like making notes and kind of adjusting my phrasing in the hopes that it'll kind of stir something up. And I also want to explain to him that anytime I'm not around to keep this egg safe, I want him to keep it safe for me.
I think when you explain all that, the first thing you'd have to say about, like, since you explained the trial, right? Is that what you're saying? Like, you explained the whole...
Yeah, like what happened on the island and the fact that like this is happening, and just hoping that like you know how sometimes like when you say things
like the
out
rubber
loud,
the rubber duck thing.
Yeah.
I think when you talk to Bullbug, his insight on that would be that he would say, how do I put this? He'd say, well, rules are rules and laws are laws, and I don't really understand a lot of them because they're really complicated and written, but I mean, he knows them, so it sounds like he knew what he was doing. And between you and me, it feels like a lot of these laws sooner or later are going to be the end of a lot of us. But I also know the last time that I thought a law was going to be the end of us, very, very incredible person managed to make a miracle, so kind of hoping she can do it twice. Or I believe she can. But if you want me to watch this egg for you, I'll do it. I'll watch it. Like, I'll hide it. I'll put it away. I can just hold it in my hands the whole time, or...
Keep it on fire, please. It needs
you want
to
me to
stay.
You want me to fry the egg?
No, like it needs to stay hot, but like solid. This is
I can
important.
do that. I don't know. I can you can fry it, don't boil it. Yeah. I can do that.
Don't eat it.
What?
It's gonna hatch. Don't eat it.
I'll do everything I can, Callista.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Did you know what you were going to do last time?
No.
Oh, sounds like you're prepared.
Just like a D&D game.
And he just says, I'll watch over this. You get to preparing, and I don't know anything about how the Furies work, but I'm sure at least one of our friends is going to try and punch them, so you should probably go figure out if that's a good idea.
I don't think so.
He punches really hard now.
This is true.
Anyway. Yeah, I'll watch it. And he holds the egg. What's that?
No, I just want to sit with him for the rest of the morning. But
yeah. He just holds the egg and sort of keeps it in his lap and looks at you. Looks down at the egg. And we're going to pass over who wants it next.
I think what Crate will be doing for this morning and probably for the afternoon is, well, workout, of course, but also try to like connect with that other dragon. I know that bond will always be there with the other whatever, but he's still young. Hopefully Craig can, like, I don't know, maybe reach out to him.
Roll an animal handling check.
Okay, guys. First roll of the night. Nat 1. I'm sure that's what's gonna happen. All right. Well, 9.
Give me a second.
I take 24 points of damage.
I haven't rolled yet.
Dude, I'm
You
treating this dragon like a dog, y'all. You know?
you try and how do you connect with him? Do you like try and pet him? Do you try and talk to him? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I think I'll try to, because he's right now, I assume that he has like a little sling thing that we've been kind of carrying him around in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just like carrying him around in the sling and just try to scratch his little underside of his neck.
Mm-hmm. You try and scratch his neck, and he reaches out and just you full on tries to like bite into you, like back in the like the back of the fight, just full on tries to rip your hand, and you move out quickly enough because you are extremely swift. But yeah, he missed, but he full on made an attack on you. Right now, like he is
Bad dragon! Bad dragon!
which brings us to tonight's sponsor. So as you say, um, but what you said, but it becomes obvious that like you are allowed to carry and care for this dragon. You are not allowed to think that you have any relationship with this dragon. Is currently where it stands.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I've only had him for like a day or two.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to do right now?
No, just try to make this relationship work.
Fair enough. By the way, the fact that my whole stream just laughed at that joke means they are all bad people. Let's move on. Tammy, what would you like to do?
So first I'd like to go and talk with Kyra a little bit if she can spare a few minutes from what she's doing with Euphemian here. And I just, not to talk about Pythor, but just to kind of go back and ask her opinion on, I mean, obviously everything that's happening with Pythor is huge right now, but we also just got another dragon egg. And I remember before we had left Mitros, Aesop had asked us to keep an eye out for the remaining 4 eggs. So what does that mean? Like,
Aesop did not ask you to look for the remaining 4 eggs. Aesop asked you to. I don't believe he did. Unless I have notes wrong. I believe that he asked you to find out to find the remaining 4 dragons because there's some. Let me see exactly what he asked you.
I'm literally looking for the notes because I just saw it when I was doing the notes in the wiki.
Yeah, I might be wrong. Let me double check. And I might have changed the wording. He.
Where did I put it?
I believe he told you that that the 4 dragons from before were missing and possibly captured by the Titans.
So they were fully grown dragons, not dragon eggs?
That's what he was referring to, I believe, yeah. So these eggs were very likely connected, but unless I said it wrong, like, and then in which case I'll go look at it. But sorry, what was your question for her? My apologies.
It was just basically both Tammy and Kiki are asking, like, what is the state right now? Like, according to everybody, as far as everybody knows, do they think that there are no more dragon eggs, or do we know that there is a possibility of some other eggs possibly out there?
When you show this to Kyra, I'm going to say that Kyra she got a little bit of sleep since the last time. So she's like on like an hour or two. And she would just say, she goes, she looks and she says, well, they're, how do I put this? There are the eggs. I mean, King Acostus has them. and had some for an Icarus, and I mean, Val's had them. They're not exactly easy to come by, but I mean, some there's gonna be some eggs because I mean, Hexy is off being a jerk, and I don't know. There's probably I don't know if Icarus can have eggs. I don't think so. But like, there's gonna be some, but they're rare, and having one can change everything for a nation. So any one of them's a pretty big deal. This one's a big deal. I mean,
So we
do you have a
should
name
be
for it?
protecting them. A
They're
name for the brass one?
what'd you say?
Or, sorry, a name for the brass one or for
Yeah,
the.
for the egg,
Oh,
the new egg that you haven't hatched yet. She goes, "Do you have a name picked out for it yet?"
no, we haven't even had a chance to even talk about it.
Because it's a really good end of like a scene whenever you like the egg hatches and you look at it and you're like, I have just the perfect name for this. Like Euphemian gets it, but like if you don't have that like lined up, it's like I have the perfect name for it a week from now, and then
Hmm. Well, it's just mostly like if we need to be concentrating on essentially keeping them hidden and keeping them protected right now, because if they can have such an impact on a nation, I'm sure
if this
people would come after them.
anybody would want one of these. Acostus,
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
only
yeah,
gonna.
look at Arcades. How cute he is.
He's adorable. He's adorable.
I
But
am agreeing.
I know. It's just that like Acostus is kind of an ass. I also just say that, but those eggs like Icarus when he grows up, he could replace most of the army in Mitros, and like any of the eggs raised
Wait,
right could do something like that.
you mean Icarus is not even fully grown?
No, he's a he's like a he's young. He's like a teen. He's not even supposed to be a teen because of the. I didn't tell you about the drink.
What? What? No.
Oh, I am bad at exposition. Um, Here, sit down, sit down, sit down. And she sits down. And she sits down on the side and like sort of motions for you to sit with her.
I do.
And she goes, "There's. It takes a long time for a dragon to get even that big, and but there are potions that are very difficult to make, and it's like takes a long time to make them that can speed up the aging process for something, and it can make them grow bigger faster. And I am not saying Acostus fed that to Icarus, but I'm saying that I don't think Icarus is supposed to be that big these only few years in. And honestly,
Well,
it's probably why I mean, he's great, he's sweet, but he's kind of difficult. And I think it's a little bit is probably like his body is growing faster than his mind. So,
I shouldn't
kids,
be laughing.
but that's why Valis was kind of annoyed. That's honestly why I'm kind of annoyed because dragons are amazing. They're wonderful. And then you treat one of them like that. Anyway, I got off on topic. I got off topic. But what I was trying to say was Titans can wait a really long time, and if this war fails and they have enough dragon eggs, they could just wait till a lot longer and try again, unless we get that oath or something else. I don't think I had as much energy as I thought I did, like an hour ago.
Yeah, maybe you should go and lay down a little bit again.
I think I'm gonna do that, but Euphemian was looking for like one more thing, and I want to help him because I've got like a lot. I have a lot of stories, and I'm gonna help him with those. Um, but you're strong. You've got muscles. Okay. Um, and she's like, and she says, "Is there anything else that I can like help you with, or we can set up for anything?"
No, I'm actually just trying to get my mind off of everything, but I think I should probably go talk to Pythor a little bit.
Oh, that's the opposite of that. Do you want to like fight or something?
I don't have the energy for that.
That's good. It would probably be pretty bad. I don't know how it would go actually. Okay, I gotta go. She goes, I don't know how it go because like you're a demigoddess and you could. I saw what you did to Kraerin, but also like so who knows. Um, but good luck. And she just like sort of pats you on the shoulder and walks away, sort of blearily. For those of you that are like new to this, that is not a Kyber I typically play. Um, but anyway, um, uh, yeah, I Ben did not know that I had not explained that with Icarus. I think I was holding that to my chest and then forgot about it. But yeah, that is he is that dragon ain't right. um,
That
like
makes sense
canonically.
now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Um, hi
Thought he
Fatima. Hello,
triggered his
hello.
brain. Oh, poor
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. He's missed a couple years of education basically. Um,
Oh.
but he's happy. He's got money. Um, he's got gold. Um, and it is anybody's action. I think that's it. So, show of hands. Who's ready to go to the next phase? Does anybody have anything they want to do like last second? That's not like a full scene, but like a small thing. All right.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say that I will, intermittently be taking breaks to play with Euphemia or
Arcades.
Arcades.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just gonna play with myself in the middle of the session.
Chandris goes, "It's about time." Making deep cut references to religions that don't exist. Okay, so anyway,
So does Lorius. Lorius also says that.
yeah, I think Lorius is happy too. Lorius will just sit there and go, yes. So anyway, down the line, here is how each character in Odyssey of the Dragonlord feels about public masturbation. I got distracted making the list in my head. I am tired. So yeah, you can play with Arcades. Roll an animal handling check.
Animal handling. That's not bad. 15.
15. I'm gonna say, Fatima, you're wearing cat earphones. I like this. This is a great thing. This is fantastic. 15. I think when you play with Arcades, you genuinely like it's like distracting yourself making time for him at one point, but at one point for like a minute or two, you genuinely truly forget that anything else is happening on the ship besides the two of you having fun together. And then the thoughts fade back in as you realize that like your mind almost making a faint connection with the dragon who really only considers that in the world right now. Excellent. We will go into the afternoon as the day gets brighter. I'm gonna roll something. I'm gonna throw in some NPCs. Give me one moment. And as I rolled, Euphemian, as you're playing with Arcades, you do hear a voice that says, let me think what they say. So, are you having fun then? Are you just Have you just decided to let it go? Make peace with what's happening? And you see Chandra standing there, sort of looking at you, watching, kind of more amused than anything, like not even judgmental, but just he goes, "It truly is not your problem, you know."
Perhaps not, but should always make time for the things in life that make you happy.
He goes, "Oh, absolutely. In fact, those should be the priority above everything else. This might be, as disappointing as it is, one of the truer versions of you right here. So, what are you going to do about the god of battle?"
Well, I still haven't necessarily put the possibility of seducing the Furies off of the board, but I'm
I
really just
don't
hoping we can talk our way out of this.
I wouldn't put that past you either. I've heard the stories. I see why. I but I don't think it's the best idea just yet. That being said, I think that that's a good view. I would have thought you would have tried to throw magic at them or something.
Well, believe it or not, magic is not exactly the solution to everything in life.
I knew that. I didn't know that you knew that. How do I say this? Euphemian. You have given me some grace on this ship. And they have been accommodating to me. And he makes some gesture towards Pythor and Kyra, like sort of dismissive. And he goes, "Is there any insight that I can possibly give you right now that will help make us a little bit more even?"
Don't suppose you know much about the oath in the first place.
He says, "The way Lutheria tells it, the oath is the only reason that the Titans haven't crushed the gods." I did think it was interesting that she said that, since she seems to mostly hate the people. But that is the only thing holding them back, is that she's annoyed about what happens there. But she did show us once. She did show us once. Oh, that's right. You left. In the Nether Sea, the island of the Oathbreakers. It's a small island of jagged rocks and thorns and shards. And there are pillars on it, jutting up high, almost higher than you would think possible given where the Nether Sea is. And those that have truly broken a terrible oath are strapped to the pillar, and they cannot die, and they stay there until the last of their mind fades away. Lutheria thought it was all in good fun. I didn't find the amusement, to be perfectly honest, but I had very little trouble feeling sympathy for anybody that would be foolish enough to break that oath, knowing full well that something that terrible could happen. Lutheria said these are just the ones we can see, so maybe there's something else too. But it looks
However,
like, hmm?
these aren't the only violations or the only punishments of oath breaking.
No,
For instance, I know that some are transformed, some are turned into harpies, etc.,
that's true.
etc.
That's true. Turned into goats, turned into harpies, bound. Sometimes, if their actions were especially egregious, the Furies will craft something just for them, something unique and I have to admit, a little bit poetic. Which, given the level of thoughtlessness put into your friend's actions, that might be happening. But it's hard to say. What do you think he would deserve?
Well,
I won't tell anybody.
Part of the problem is that it's hard to look at this from anywhere outside of enlightened self-interest. Any time that we're losing a piece on the board, our position is inherently weaker.
Oh, I have to say, I'm liking this side of you. And he kneels down to look at you. He goes, I have to say, I'm very much enjoying this side of you, Euphemian.
One can admit the realities of life without necessarily accepting that the optimum solution is the path to take.
So, your thought on this is that if Pythor's gone, then so is Sidon.
Even if we could manipulate this into a short-term win to the end of the natural oath by itself. Not being disturbed by Sidon in the meantime would be a significant boon to us.
I have to say, I don't have any love for Sidon myself. And Lutheria, having all of this to herself, does sound appealing. I do hope, again, that we can find peace. But that does hold a certain appeal. You make a good point. If I can't settle for passionate, I can appreciate pragmatic. Let me know if there's anything else I can do.
I appreciate any help you can give.
He stands up and looks at Arcades and he just says, this little thing. And then he walks off. Euphemia, is there anything else that you want to do?
Do I get any sense from Arcades of what he thinks of Chandris?
Roll animal handling.
Do.
As far as you can tell, Arcades is just looking up at Chandris like, whoa, there's another person. A while ago, only 5 people, only like 6 people existed, the 4 of you and Kyra and Bulbug. And now there's another. How many people exist on this planet? Is kind of where Arcades is. Jen had a question for me. Did we, I'm a little fuzzy on the timeline, so let me make sure I forgot this. Did we end last session in the evening such that we are now on day 35? Because I think that's the case, but I don't want to rob you guys of a day.
We only did one long rest, as far as I know, formally and declared. Because when we were on the island, my counter for Arcades was at 4. It's currently at 5. I have not incremented that. Okay,
so this is day 1 before the Furies get there then. I'm a little fuzzy on my timeline then. Okay.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. So afternoon. Show of hands, does anybody else want to do anything, or shall I fast forward? All right. We're going to cut to the night.
And this would also be the night that we have our feast, I believe.
Yes.
Our gator feast.
Yes, I forgot that you prepared the gator feast. I'm sorry, my energy levels are ever. I forgot. So I'm going to say over that afternoon, the heroes set up the different people set up the tables in the on the top of the deck, and the gator is prepared, and various fruits are prepared. I think that Kyra would sort of bring out a basket of like apples and pears and like grapes that you guys hadn't seen before, and she just starts setting it down on the table, and it would take you guys a little while to realize that she's like putting more on the table than can physically fit in the basket. So just slight discreet use of her remaining goddess powers. And Allie, I'm sorry. And all of the people getting ready. Lori is helping setting things up. I think, I think that the squirrel would be Harkus would be helping by chittering at everything. Clotho would be helping, supervised by Lorius. And over time, you prepare this, and as we get to nightfall, Kyra's used some dancing lights to sort of provide torchlight in the sky around this area, and Pythor is sitting at the head of the table. And Kyra and Pythor stands up, and he goes, "Well, how big was the gator? Is what GameBot knows. So type the answer in chat. I'm curious. I think it was huge. It was a huge gator. I remember that. Very large. Pythor stands up and says, "Well, I think we all know what's going on here, so I don't really know what to say." And Kyra goes, "Speech, speech, speech, speech." And Pythor says, "I'm actively giving the speech. I'm actively giving the speech." And he looks at you all and he says, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And for a few hundred years, the worst thing that was happening to me was that I always knew what would happen tomorrow. That there would be no battles to be fought, that any love I had would be taken away, and that I would just a little more. Well, we had good wine in Astoria. Really good. We don't have it here now. And not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow it's a feeling that I'm used to, that I had back at the battles hundreds of years ago. And you know what you'd like to have happen, but you don't know what's going to be. And that's exciting in its own way. Because I'm a god, and I am impressive. I am impressive. And he looks at all of you and holds his cup into all of you. It's like, sort of holds it out to Cray Rain for like a moment, like he's like making a point, and then he just sort of stops and he says, "But any battle could be the one that you fall in. So you have to make sure that you're going into it with no regrets, and that you'll be proud that if you fell on that field, it's a story that people will tell." And Kyra goes, "I will." He goes, "Again, this is not about you. Just let me finish this." And he says, "I got to, if the worst comes tomorrow, I got to be in battle one more time yesterday, and the biggest battle I've had in a very long time. And more than that, I found people worth battling for, who would fight for me, and I would fight for them. So the field tomorrow is very different, but the thing that will be the same is that I won't have any regrets. And that tonight we're gonna feast, and we are gonna carouse, and we are gonna get drunk. Some of us, sorry. And whatever we need to do to party, we are going to do it. So that we remember what we are, who we are, and what we love, and what we're fighting for." And he looks down and he goes, "I'm not raising a fucking glass of water. So I'm just gonna take that." And he reaches down. I think he's gonna rip off rip part of like one of the like chunks of gator that's being served there. He's gonna hold it up and just gonna say, "To the feast, and to tomorrow, and to a day without regrets." And he takes this and he bites this down. He looks at it and he sort of like that big like manly chomp, and looks and like holds it out like a battle trophy. Kyra just like applauds. A few people applaud. I think like Chandras actually like raises his glass. Chandras appreciates this and just starts drinking. And Does anybody have a reaction before we get on with this?
I hope he gets laid tonight.
Mm.
I will, as that ends, just kind of like cheer and get out of my seat and go over to the Boreal harp and grab my bard friend from
Mm.
Miletus and
Melanthius, that's right.
start playing some bangers.
Excellent. Yes. Kyra would absolutely join you for that. And the three of you would actually be a band. I think you'd actually be part of a band for the first time in the campaign as you're playing this.
Trey'll probably, as Pythor pulls up the gator leg, will probably jump up on his little seat so he can be a little bit taller or like normal height and like but with like I don't know, piece of dragon or not dragon, gator, I don't know,
Yeah.
conch or something.
Totally like
Excellent.
the hobbits.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do that. You jump it. That's fantastic. And yeah, you jump up. People cheer. I think that Laureus politely claps for you. And yeah, is there anything else that anybody else wants to do?
I think Euphemian will have had some of his family's wine on stock, and so I would be serving that out for the feast.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that that is excellent choice. People will be partaking in that.
It's fine.
No, it's good. It's good.
I'll take the other two. I think I got 2 bottles of Letheria's wine from when we had the tour. I will just put that on the table for whoever wants it.
Excellent.
Craig puts some bacon on there.
You put the bacon on there, Parthika finally just swoops up, grabs like most of it in his hand, and just like chomps it, half of it. Yeah. This is excellent. I'm
also gonna take like a little bit of the meat, kind of step away from the party going, and just if I can like burn them on the boat somehow as like sacrifices to everyone, and then keep some of that meat to feed to the Lizard King's dragon.
Excellent.
And Arcades, because he loves Arcades more.
Oh, the dragons definitely have like the soup bone that's been left behind.
Excellent.
Cool.
They're just gnawing away. That's good. This is great. I think yeah, I think part with you, like Kyra will be playing this music. I think that when Kyra's playing music, what would she have? She'd have a lyre, I think, if that's okay with you. She'd have a lyre, and when she's playing this lyre, she's gonna get lost in it and just start to strum this music. When she strums it, like I talked about, like that sort of glittering aura that she sends out sometime in battle. She's playing this music, and like these colors come out of it, and over time the colors begin to take shape, and you see her playing images of some of Pythor's great battles and victories to be seen. I have a few more things, but does anybody else want to do anything real fast before I move ahead? All right, I think that Pythor at one point is I think at Pythor at one point is just going to pick up Clotho with like one hand and just basically says like really brashly and like way louder than he needs to. He goes, "Hey, you want to end at God's last night on a great note?" And she's like, "Yes." And he goes, "Okay," and just carries her like downstairs.
Fade to black.
Yeah. If you guys keep Pythor alive, I have a new ship I didn't even meet until this moment. But and yeah. Show of hands, are we okay with going to the next morning?
It's too bad our episode number isn't what I wanted it to be.
Almost there. All right, we're gonna go to the next morning.
Time for me to change it.
Change it to 35. We got 35 days left till the final battle. Also, I do got to talk to you guys about I talked to Allie about the act break, and there's something I wanted to make clear about that afterwards. but that is such a different topic. By the notes that you received before by Versi. By the way, I want to just say for clarification, because I have a list here of all of these people. The last two I want to check off on the list is that Laureus. Let me roll 1d4. Laureus would briefly, whenever Pythor walks off with Clotho, I think that Laureus would walk by Euphemian for a moment and just like say, "Such as the stars that the one straight god in all of the pantheon," and he just walks by, and what was I gonna say? And then as Versi would have been sitting like far away from the rest of you, politely sipping wine, like sipping a single drink for the whole evening. That's her version of partying down. So my cup is empty. Show of hands. Who is ready to fast forward to way late in the day when we get this started? If your hands are down, I'm assuming you have something to do. All right. Then that leaves Reed. Reed, what have you got?
The only thing I want to sort of make on record is I'd like to spend some time today in sort of meeting with the Dryad.
Y'all give me emotions. I want you to roll a religion check with advantage.
Okay. Sorry, I've got a cat that's stuck in my pants.
That's not a way to call your put. Never mind.
26.
Tengo un grande gato en mis pantalones.
Whoa,
26.
Roll.
Stolen Fires has requested that you show the cat.
The cat doesn't show up well.
As it does, it's a great cat. Oh no, the cat's head is gone. Oh god. Cat is perfect. You get catspiration +1 to your next roll. The cat loves it. I like catspiration. I don't want it to come up at the final battle. So it strikes you.
Kiwi,
so anyway.
come here.
I forgot. Oh yeah, the ship. You communicate with the ship. I will tell you that the last time that this ship had, that you sort of remember in your head, it feels like you're remembering something. That the last time the ship had laughter and revelry was after a cruel and wicked victory over people that did not want to be in a battle, and very few people on the ship were laughing. And this was the first time, possibly ever, that there was a true, genuine raucous party on this ship. So that is a new experience. Bringing Despina up here. Oh, this is all these deep cuts. Like I love that there's like people that are like on this stream now. There's people that are kindly joined the stream, and I'm like, oh, cool, you guys are here. Then all of a sudden we're just like, okay, here's references to somebody last seen in episode 6. But anyway, okay. This is a little early for us, but if that is everything, then I feel Allie, hit me up. What's up?
Just really quick, I want to check in on Versi. Or yeah.
If you check in on Versi, she will be sitting by herself, almost stoic, eyes closed, almost like she's meditating or statuesque. She spends most of her time she's very introverted. She spends most of her time either deep in thought about personal issues or, to be frank, contemplating situations on a level that most mortals can't connect with. So she's usually lost in thought one way or another. This is her default mode, just sitting by herself. But that's where she is.
Okay. I'll just walk up and take her hand if she'll let me and sit down next to her.
And she looks over at you. Lista.
How are you doing? I mean, whatever happens tomorrow will affect your dad too, right?
Yes. I don't. My role as an oracle is outside of what my father wants, and my preferences matter very little. What little my preferences do matter can be spoken to from how it warmed my heart to see the four of you when we met. And one can grieve and feel joy at the same time. Your friends and you have asked how I'm doing several times in the past 2 days. Very few people make that the question they ask an oracle. There's something else that you want to ask, I imagine.
I just was a little bit curious to know how you would want things to play out. If you had any requests.
My preferences will never be a part of the journey that you're taking. But I'm glad that when I reached out in my way to 4 people, I found someone that would ask such a thing.
Well, I'll leave you to it. I certainly don't want to overstay my welcome, so I'll just
Callista,
kiss her hand and
you are. I wish to clarify that you are always welcome here, as are each of you. I can see the loom that weaves destiny more clearly than most, possibly even the fates themselves. The advice that I give people and the truths that I tell people can change kingdoms. That is how we met. If I let myself give voice to my preferences and my interests, it can set ripples in the water that I am peering into. It could corrupt my own words without my realizing it. It wouldn't just be an act of vanity to discuss my wishes. It would be a taking from the truth that I would give anybody else. I have to honor that. But I truly do appreciate that you're someone that would ask. And you are always welcome here.
That certainly seems like a lot of pressure.
Yes.
Well, if you ever change your mind and you want to talk, I won't take it as a forecast.
You are very kind. Anything else you want to do?
No, thank you.
Pharisee's a weird bird that I didn't expect to put in the story so much, but I like her. Show of hands if you're ready to move forward. Tammy?
I'm just going to say When we do
You guys
retire,
are running out the
very
timer.
quick, very quick, very quick.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna say that when we all do eventually retire for the night, I'll just ask if Euphemian would mind just letting me lay with him, just because I am worried. I don't think I'll be able to sleep. I don't know what's going to happen with Pythor. I don't know what I can do to fix it. And I just don't want to be alone.
Of course.
Arcades won't mind.
He can make room.
He actually cuddles around both of you with his like little dragon tail. Oh, it's so cute.
I think that Arcades would make a very small yipping sound to remind you that this is his Euphemian, but that you are welcome to lay down here.
Territorial little bugger, aren't you?
I'm many things, Kiki. I'm excited, a little bit nervous, but we've seen you work on the battlefield. I think this is going to be mine. Trust that I can do this.
Well, if anybody can manage it, I know you could. You just hate feeling useless.
I understand the feeling.
But we'll just see what tomorrow brings, I guess.
As you two hold each other, Cray, where are you right now?
I don't know, just being fucking dick to people. I don't know.
Where are you on the ship? Where are you on the ship?
Honestly, if there was really not much downtime, he'd probably just be still working out and trying to comfort this little dragon who refuses to be comforted.
Mm-hmm. I think that as you're up there, as you're with your dragon, I'm gonna say on the deck of the boat, you do see when you look up fewer stars than you saw last night. And in this description, you can interrupt me anytime to say what you're doing. Otherwise, I'm just describing passive things. But as you look up, you see fewer stars than you saw last night. And then fewer. And then fewer. As they almost blink out of existence. And a chill moves through the air. As the water's still and you don't even hear the waves. And then you realize when you look out in the distance, you can see no other lands in the horizon, no other movement. And you don't see any of your other crewmates there before, except Kiki or Callista, or Callista, would you be above deck or below deck?
Probably above deck.
Gray, you would see Callista, and Callista, you would be seeing these things as well.
Callista, things feel weird.
Yeah.
Pythor emerges above deck with Kyra right behind him. And Kyra Pythor looks up at the sky, and Kyra says, "You were right." He goes, Yeah. He walks out to the deck, and he goes, "You two? What are you Well, you can see you two. Kyra goes, she goes, probably witnesses.
Do we need to get the others?
Kyra goes, could you please?
Yeah, I'll be there in a jiffy. And I'll just use my spirit of the wind. Bam, bam.
Pythor looks out at the still water, and Kyra turns to Callista and says, it's kind of like dreaming. And it's kind of like we're having the same dream, but not really. And anyone that's part of the trial can hear it. No one else is gonna have this vision. So.
And I knock on the.
Mm-hmm.
And a knock on the door of Euphemian, and where Euphemian and I guess assume Kiki is, because with 150 feet of movement, I'm sure I can run around really fast. And just be like, guys, it's time.
All right.
And as you come up, Euphemian and Kiki, when you two come above board, by the time that you get up there, the wooden deck of the ship is laid out almost like 200 feet in any direction, with none of the railing, just like the mast and then the floor, and then the end of the ship, or the back of the ship. And on the other side, you see a massive throne, opulent and decadent.
Is the
harp
around?
With the what? Yeah, the harp can be there.
When everybody gets within 20 feet of me, I just want to hit everyone with a quick calm emotions through the harp.
On your side or everybody?
Everyone on our side. So Kyra, Pythor, Kiki, Cray, Euphemian, me.
Kiki is going to try and resist it. What is your saving throw? Or sorry, not Kiki, Kyra.
I think it's 18 through the harp, but let me double check. Calm emotions. Yeah, charisma 18. Or charisma 18, so she'll probably make it.
Yeah. Charisma 18. All right. And when you do that, both Pythor and Kyra just take a breath and look at you. And then just look back. Are any of you three going to resist calm emotions?
Nope.
Oh no, I need this.
And you see on the other side a large throne with Sidon's glaive leaned up against it, and Sidon himself sitting at the throne watching you, with the silhouettes of 5 very tall humanoid figures sitting at the steps of the throne looking at you. And they're just watching you silently. And then you hear this piercing, screeching sound through the sky, almost ripping the sky open with its peel, as you see these swooping images, beings flying past, circling around all of you, and around this weird dreamlike arena before landing on these. There's like stone pillars, like on either side of you. There's 3 stone pillars, and you see 3 Furies land on them and look at you. 2 of them watching silently, while the third, who I put her picture in the chat before, but I'll put it in again. Megara looks at you and says, "You have broken the oath of peace, the most important and solemn oath ever formed in this land." And you hear one of the other Furies say, Can we skin them now? Can we flay them? We can flay them now. And the other says, not now. We have to wait for the trial to end. And Megara says, as is the right. The trial will be had now, and we shall determine what shall happen to a Titan and a god when they lie. Let's begin. And let's take a 15-minute break, and I will see you guys soon. Prepare for your opening statements.
Ace Attorney, y'all. Guys, help us out.
Yep. If you guys got any thoughts on this, feel free to jump in. Reed, let us know.
Panama. We need you. We need our lawyer.
We need our rules lawyer. Everybody, bring your best pedantry. Every episode of actually has been building to this. All right. I'll see you guys very soon.
All right. I will bring us back to the intermission. Bye.
Bye.
Did I?
Hello, friends. We're back to the stream. Everyone's feeling good on the break. I think everyone was talking about how much fun they're having and how much they're looking forward to another carefree session of Odyssey of the Dragonlords.
So much chocolate and coffee, y'all. Just saying.
Let's jump in. Y'all are good? Let's go. Megara says, let the trial begin. And as she says this, you see, I would say in contrast to the dancing lights before, flames suspended in air lining the area around where everyone is present, and then beyond that, just black and void, isolating you in this small area. Thank you, Fatima. In this small area. Side on it is thrown with 5 people below. 5 people that are tall, each about 7 or 8 feet tall. Beautiful and perfect in very different ways. And those of you that look at them would notice that they have dark hair, fair, beautiful features, and for most of them, the third eye in the middle of their head. And Sidon stands up and he says, I will not be broken or brought down by some misreading of this insult of a promise made 500 years ago. And as he does, Megara stands up and she points in his direction and says, sit. And Sidon looks at her and says, you find perch in my tower. You stay within my domain, and you think to tell me. And because you think to tell me what to do, that I don't smite you now. And all of a sudden you see this whip of light move and grab one of his arms and yank it forward, and he stumbles forward for a second, and as he does, his other arm moves forward, and it wraps around and binds both of his hands or wrists. And you see on one of the other pillars, you see Tisiphone, I believe her name was, holding this rope. And she looks and she goes, please, 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 keep talking, please. I want you to say another word. And Electa standing next to her goes, he gets the point. Continue the trial. And Sidon just looks at Megara and Megara looks at him and nods. And Tisiphone sighs and loosens the rope, and he moves his hands and walks back to the throne and sits. Is there anything anybody of you would like to do right now before I continue? And by the way, there are a lot of characters in this scene, so there will be moments where I'm just narrating the characters. You do not need to wait for me to finish. Cut me off if your characters are doing something. It might even go somewhere you don't want it to if you wait to let me finish. But does anybody want to do anything right now?
I'm going to take a couple of steps forward.
When you do, Tiffany takes her rope and holds it and looks at you gleefully, and Electra just sort of watches. Megara says, "You're a witness to this. You have something to say before the charges have been discussed."
I do. I hope to beg at least some measure of mercy from this court.
Tisiphone lets out this screeching laughter that just echoes through the entire area, and Elective says, "I have to agree with my sister on that one." And Megara looks at you and says, "Explain."
I believe that there are some mitigating factors that are to be considered in this affair that would warrant some level of clemency to the god Pythor. And to that end, I wish to negotiate some mitigation to this punishment.
Kyra turns and looks at you, sort of not surprised, but sort of like anxious. And Pythor is just sort of looking dead set at the Furies, like not breaking eye contact or anything else. Thank you, Fatima, for the boost. Fatima gave you all a blessing. I want you to roll an insight check right now. And as you're rolling it, I'm going to tell you, Megara looks at you and says, "Introduce yourself." What was your insight check? 17?
17.
All right. At above a 15, I will... Oh, you have 0 on insight. You got 17. At above a 15, I will tell you, I have said before that the Furies know every objective truth about what's going on here. They don't have any emotions tied to it, but they know the objective truth. So there's no way in Hades she actually needs you to introduce yourself. She's kind of giving you a chance to present how you want to be seen to the court. Not just like state your name.
I'm going to stand forward. My name is Cleon of Miletus, also known as Euphemion.
What are these factors? We have not declared a punishment or a conclusion to the trial yet. And you are so very sure of yourself that you wish to present your statements beforehand. Sidon says, "I've already taken issue with this, but I do respect the rulings of the Furies. And if their side as well has something they wish to say, then we may at least hear it for now." And he looks at Euphemion with absolute disdain.
First, I wish to point out several mitigating factors to this extent. The first being the obvious, that the oath was made between two parties. Both parties have been harmed by this effect.
Don't explain to us what we know. Get to the point.
The simple fact is that by the fact that both parties have proven themselves to be in the wrong, it is potentially justifiable to mitigate or lessen the punishment on that basis, as both are in the wrong.
Electa says, "You'll have to explain that one to us, actually. If both people break the oath, then neither of them broke the oath?"
Both of them have harmed the other. Therefore, the harm that has been done may be taken in as part of the punishment.
For your boldness, Cleon, I will reward you with one question of my own. If this logic were to follow, then if Lutheria and Kyra and Valis and Vulcan were to all take up arms against each other, could it not be said that it was a mutual breaking that should be a mitigating factor? And would it not then be the case that the oath holds no weight of its own?
A mitigating factor, not necessarily. Annulling factor. If both decide to strike against each other mutually at the same time, both are in the wrong, and therefore both must suffer the punishment and suffer the harm dealt to them through the actions done.
And she looks at Megara, and Megara says, the harm that was done to them was the cutting of blades, axes, physical harm. Correct?
Lightning, as I remember correctly, but...
Very well, then when we punish them on the island of the Oathbreakers, we shall waive for each of them a few slashes and strikes of lightning as mitigating factors for eternity. Are you finished, Cleon?
Unfortunately not, and I appreciate your patience in this matter.
Stephanie, Stephanie sort of, I think there's like a couple pillars. Stephanie almost cat-like leaps from two pillars over to get a closer look at you, and then peers down to watch you. And over on side, you hear this voice of this one very tall, powerful one says, Father, is the trial over yet? I hate this sort of thing. And Sidon goes, Chelsea, a silence. We have matters to discuss. And Megara looks at you and says, I haven't struck you down so far. You are presenting interesting perspectives that are bold for someone of your station. Do you think that you have a right to speak for the gods?
I have a right to speak for all the people who are going to be harmed by the war as a result of the outcome of this trial.
That doesn't matter to me.
It matters greatly to me.
Maybe your god should have considered that. But continue.
The other matter at hand is that while Pythor did strike back, Sidon did make the first attack, and against Pythor's daughter.
Electo goes, Pythor's daughter is fair game. I know that you all think that you find yourselves in some exception because of some decisions that were made outside of the oath, but Kiana is mundane and within the purview of Sidon.
However, by the fact that she is his daughter, he is nonetheless responsible for her keeping, to the very extent that I do believe that the two have, that he had sworn an oath to that matter. In either regard, he was going to be violating an oath.
And Megara says, well, he took that oath. That is his decision to take that oath. If he took an oath that contradicted it, that is his own fault and decision. And Electo says, Megara, dear. And Megara turns to Electo and says, Electo says, a family, a household? And Megara just rolls her eyes. In some perspectives, Sidon struck first. but Pythor chose to continue fighting. Is your argument that Sidon should be punished for worse than Pythor?
No.
Because you are still conceding that Pythor broke the oath.
And I am prepared to admit to this.
Good.
However, I wish that the punishment also come with this in mind.
And Tisiphone crawls down the pillar, like just downward, crawls down the pillar and leans at it and looks at you and says, punishment? What mortal mind is a punishment? Tell me. What is a punishment for a god? A titan? What is depravity inside you?
I am
And
quite certain that being the god of battle, one who is known for his prowess and for his strength,
Kyra says,
and for his
Yuffie?
I'm
grand feats,
gonna grab Kyra's hand when she starts talking.
Go on. You can.
I wish to propose the following.
And Electa says, you're proposing. Well,
If
this
I
is
may
just
be so
easy
bold.
now. You've already begun. I want to see how this finishes. And Megara says, this is intriguing. Speak.
The gods came to this war in the first place at the behest of a mortal, arguably in the defense of the mortals. Therefore, may I present that their punishment be that for the remainder of the term of the oath, both are turned into mortals. No greater than I.
Reed, I want you to listen carefully before you do it. I want you to privately make a persuasion check, and I want you to send it to me in Discord privately. And if you give any inclination as to what it is to anybody else beforehand, I will mark it as a 1.
Okay, I just need to remember how I do that.
Or I can roll for you and message you the result.
Yeah, if you want to do that, just so I don't accidentally fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that reroll still good?
Yeah, or persuasion, sorry. I'm gonna roll a persuasion for you.
Okay.
And you can roll so do you I will roll that persuasion for you if you like. What's the threshold for rolling it?
Sorry, what do you mean? What's the threshold?
Like what is the at what number do you want me to re-roll it?
Less than a 10.
Like if it's
Uh-oh. I just lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
You all still there? Do you still hear me?
Yeah.
Do you still see me?
I hear you.
It's moving. Yeah, it's moving.
We don't hear. Do you hear us?
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry,
good.
everything froze on my screen for a second.
Good time.
Even my computer is tense.
So you used the re-roll. Is
Can
there
we
any
add
way
to
that
the
you'd want to
bless?
use? Did you want to use a bless or maybe a guidance?
I will use my Catspiration, for one.
Okay.
I will also use the Blessing for a d4 on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll roll the 1d4 as well. Allie, are you rolling guidance?
I would like to, if possible, but I have to be able to touch him.
Oh, okay. Well.
And it's
Yeah.
also a verbal spell.
Okay. Well, there's nothing stopping you from doing these things if you want to do them.
I will attempt to. Subtly. Give him
You're
guidance.
gonna touch him. Tisiphone hisses at you. Do you want to continue?
Nothing left to lose. Just do it.
All right, I will continue.
How much does guidance provide?
It's a D4.
got the number right here. Read, I'll tell you in a minute.
I should have given you Bardic before we started this.
Megara looks at you and says, "That's your proposed punishment for Pythor and Sidon, that they be mortals, regular people. Is that correct? Humans, I presume? Elves? Satyrs? Minotaurs?"
I have no particular preference.
Oh, but you had a preference a moment ago. You had very many ideas. Why stop now? Why don't you name the form that you want Pythor to be?
I will step forward with my hand on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, don't you think it would be kind of poetic if you turned Sidon into a traveler race and Pythor into a native race?
And Tisiphone looks at Callista and cackles, rapidly climbs back up the pillar, and crouches down to watch. Electo raises her eyebrows. Raises her eyebrows in interest, and Megara says, "Well, turning them into those things would be interesting." She says, "But your attempt to dissuade us, because I see that if we turn them into this, they could still help you. Pythor could still work his plans," and Tisiphone goes, "Such that they are." And Megara goes, "And Sidon could still lead his children for their ideas and for what they wish to do." And Sidon looks at his children for a moment, and most of them seem to not even really be paying attention to what's happening. Megara goes, "No. They suffer. They must suffer. Although I do like the idea of turning them into something else, some creatures." And Electa says, "Megara?" And Meg says, "We could turn them into beasts." And looks at Crare and says, "What do you think? A boar for Pythor?" And Tisiphone starts to giggle, and Pythor sort of hangs his head down in shame, and Kyra goes over and puts her hand on his back. And Megara says, "I like this idea that we should turn them into beasts and loose them on the land. And if they survive until the end of the oath, then they can return to their forms." Sidon turns his head and looks at Megara and raises an eyebrow, and she looks at him and nods. And she says, "And if they are slain before then?" "Well, we have a few people here that can tell the story of their folly, don't we?" And Pythor just sort of looks, like, goes from looking to her to looking down at the ground. And Megara says, "Don't we?" And Electa says, "Kyra, they asked you a question. If your brother was slain as a boar, would you write the tale?" And Kyra says, I it's not my trial, is it?" And Megara says, "I take that's a yes." And Megara looks at Euphemion and says,
We lost you, Ben.
"Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Megara looks at Euphemion and says, or Cleon, and says, "You made an offer, Cleon, that they were turned into mortals. I think I want to carry that through, to make them these things. And with any luck on your side, they won't be slain before it's over. Does that sound like a good compromise? Are enough factors mitigated for Cleon with his clever tongue?
Would we be given leave to take them? Or at least take Pythor with us?
I'm going to roll a persuasion check for you again.
Can I assist?
How are you assisting?
Well, I mean, I did kind of step up and
I need
participate.
you to tell me which action you're using, like the help action, blessing, like
Help action.
Was it bless action or help action?
Help
Okay.
action.
Okay. Megara says, I would say, and before she stops, Tisiphone goes, no, an idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. I have one. And Megara says, Stephanie, you haven't submitted your own suggestion for a while. You're normally more of a enforcer. And Stephanie just sort of starts cackling and laughing, and she stands up and she says, they want to choose. They can choose. They can choose. And points to the 4 heroes. And Kyra looks around a little confused. And Sidon says, why should they get to choose? And Stephanie holds up the rope again, and he stands there and stares at her. And Megara says, if I understand you right, Stephanie goes, you do. Megara says, she wants you to decide any mercy that you give, any mercy that you request that we're giving to Pythor, we'd also give to Sidon. So if Pythor, our original intention was to release Pythor and Sidon as boars while on the continent of Thylia until the end of days. But if you want to keep them here, then they can care for Sidon as well. As well, we will have to make an example of this trial and let it be known that the oath was broken. So we would have to naturally let people know the state of Pythor and Sidon. Tiffany giggles at the very obvious threat being hung there. Euphemian, I'm going to say right now, let me write something out. Give me one moment. You guys can chat for a second. We'll say this is your character's considering it because I got to write something here.
Well, we'd finally have Bacon actually able to join the party.
No killing my dad and making bacon out of him, Cray.
Oh, but it could be so tasty.
It's my dad!
So I'm wondering, is what they're trying to say, if Pythor changed and Sidon changed, we have to take care of both of them.
No, what they're saying is if you guys can watch over Pythor, then Sidon's kids can watch over Sidon. So there's 2 drawbacks to protecting Pythor here. One, you will also be implicitly protecting Sidon because they are going to give them both the same punishment. And 2, they are going to put out the signal to everybody that Pythor is currently in a killable form on your ship, and you guys get to play with that.
Well, Sidon should be equally available as well. Like, his kids just can't take him out to whatever other plane. They have to be presented somewhere.
Yeah, he's at his tower. That's very true. That logic follows through. Absolutely correct. Euphemian, while everyone's considering discussing this, you hear a voice in your head. Let me get this just right. If the boar is loosed on the continent, then my people will find it. You will be slightly less of a nuisance for this time. Do you want to say anything back in response?
When I do sending, is that actually like the message that I send is verbal?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone else has to hear you. You're asking if anyone else in the trial would pick up what you're saying?
Yeah, would they hear?
I don't believe so.
Then I will say, I understand.
And I ask for a clarification that if we were not to take Pythor, they would lose them as 2 wild boars on the continent. Would they still put the word out that they are in a killable form, and it'll be basically open season on all boars?
They did not say that they would do that, so it is ambiguous. But Tisiphone was threatening to put, or Megara was threatening to put the word out as a way of really driving home that you guys would be accepting responsibility.
And then my last question is, and this would probably go into history, not specifically being discussed at the trial here, but in the past, when the Furies have dished out their punishments and transformed somebody into another creature, do they still have their same mind, or are they literally walnut-brained cat with one brain cell?
I will say that their brains slowly, very, very slowly, submit to a bestial mind. To put it in D&D terms, you'd be making wisdom saves every day against your wisdom going a little bit lower, is to put it one way. So it's not permanent. It would be 35 days, but if it were permanent, it would just be a matter of time before they were just especially cool-looking feral hogs. Euphemia and I went to the same reference at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
And also their communication and stuff, they would not be that helpful if you're talking about communicating with them at any point, like speak with the animal or anything. It wouldn't be that great.
No, I'm just wondering if, for example, Pythor would be able to realize he's still Pythor, but in a boar form, and therefore try to stick close to us or to somewhere where he could be safe.
He would have a reduced mental capacity, but he would probably still realize that he is Pythor and that he should stick with you. We're talking Pythor knows what's going on, knows that he's with you, still wants to hunt truffles. To put it one way. You'd be watching him change more or less. So that's my call on it. Euphemia, by the way, you still have one question that we can retcon you looked up before. Do you still have that in your back pocket?
I really can't think of anything unless somebody wants to inject knowledge into my brain or thoughts into my brain.
I just have a thought I'd like to share with the group, which is if the call goes out, odds are not bad that we're going to be fighting a green dragon.
That's also true.
For those of you that are new to the show, there is a green dragon that has had a hate on for Pythor for about 60 sessions now.
I'm not opposed to it, but we should be ready for it.
Yeah.
Before we agree to anything.
My feeling right now is I'm inclined to let Valis deal with it. And hopefully she can catch Pythor before he makes too much of a mess of himself. And hopefully the mercy of Sidon's children will be as great as you would expect it to be.
But they seem so invested.
They have been raised well. So shall we resume real time?
Yep.
Back to the party.
Electo says, you have a choice to make. You stand by your morals and your ideas that in your mind will fix everything. So will you place a promise, not an oath, but a promise on your heart and the lives of everybody on your ship, such that it is that you are willing to are willing to take on Pythor? And Tiffany goes, God of battle.
I'm going to look back at Pythor.
Pythor looks at you and just sort of nods, giving you a nod, like he trusts whatever choice you're about to make.
I know Pythor. I know that even as a boar, he's going to be more formidable than most hunters. If he is returned to the mainland and side on to some appropriate island, safe for him, that is sufficient for me.
And Megra says, well, Sidon would go to that island as well. I think that's got a balance to it. But if that's your decision, then who are we to decline your humble begging and request?
No need to get insulting. That's
And she
Reed, by
says,
the way.
and Electo says, so it is the punishment that they shall be turned into boars and cast on the main land for the remaining days of the oath, to live as boars and for their minds to diminish and rot. And if they should survive until the end of the oath, then they can be returned to their true forms. And she looks at Pythor. Allie, if you're raising your hand, are you raising? Oh, you're writing.
No, I am writing it down. Verbatim.
And one of the other people, one of the other beings on the stairs goes, Father, are we going to have to come rescue you? And Sidon turns and looks at him and says, Talius, there's work to do. And Chelsea says, and I quote, Pythor turns and looks at you guys sort of at a loss for words, and Kyra Pythor walks over slowly to Euphemian. And Kyra runs over to Euphemian and just gives him this big hug, and she's like, you see her like sort of sobbing a little bit. She whispers into your ear, she goes, Thank you. I know you did your best. Thank you. Pythor comes over to Euphemian and says, Thanks.
It's not the outcome I would have liked, but at least you're not bleeding from the eyeballs either.
I've been called a bore, but I have bled from the eyeballs, so this one will be a little bit more new than the other one. I'm gonna say bye to my daughter.
I'm just gonna grab him in a handshake and pull him in for a hug.
He gives you this hug, very tight, and almost breaking your back. It's just one of those really like overly tight bear hugs.
It's only 35 days.
Yeah.
I would imagine you can fuck a lot of pigs in that time.
You always have a way of looking on the bright side. He turns and he looks at Kiki and he goes, Kiana, sorry. This rope lashes around, wraps around his body, wraps around his face and his mouth and jerks him back. And Tiffany goes, no time, so sorry. Oh, you spent all that time talking to your attorney and now we have to punish. Oh, you should have said your goodbyes. But she pulls it and Pythor jerks back and she goes, but now we have work to do and it's work that they agreed to. So let's get to it.
This wasn't part of the deal.
The trial's over, little satyr. Know your place. And she pulls Pythor and drags him back. And you see Pythor like trying to stand up as she like jerks the rope further. And you see him sort of stumbling. And Sidon just standing, looks at Electo and Megara and just kneels down on both of his knees and just looks up and says, I am a Titan. And Electo says, we'll see. And wraps the rope around casts the rope around him and yanks him down. And he falls forward and just almost falls through the floor like it's mist, like it's water, and sinks through.
While this is all happening,
mm-hmm.
Could I take a piece of paper, scribble it down? I'm going to cast Unseen Servant. I'm going to give the paper to the Unseen Servant. And I'm going to direct it to go over and deliver it to Chelsea.
Okay, please message me what it says. Unless you want to say it out loud. Your call.
I can say it out loud. It's Euphemian's best recipe for bacon.
You make it an inspiration. Fatima asked if those were the options. The other option was to basically spend the rest of eternity immortal, strapped to a pillar on an island where everything is made of shards and thorns and jagged rocks. So this is actually quite toned down.
Was that a success or was it a failure on my...
You did one of the most extraordinary things in the game, and my heart aches for you. Because I will put it in the Discord. I owed you guys the courtesy of allowing you to boost the rolls as much as you wanted, because that is what's fair and respectful to your experience. But the fact remains, you rolled 2 nat 1s.
Oh my god.
No.
So I did not want to punish you for all of your role playing, especially for a role that you could not see. So I didn't want to just flip it on you and say, okay, now you're a bore or something. But I wanted to make it worse. So once you said mortals, I wanted to see how I could take what you suggested and make it worse than what you asked for. The other option I was considering was that they would both be mortals and that they would both have to stay in the stocks in the city in the middle of Mitros for the rest of the time. Just maybe facing each other. So
how far away from me is Pythor right now?
Pythor's being dragged out of here right this second, but don't worry about specific feet if you're trying to do something. Don't worry about the math.
Okay, I'm gonna Misty Step to Pythor, and I want to shove, if possible, the King of Hearts card from my standard playing card deck into his mouth.
Okay. You want to Janet that shit? Do it. So you take that. I'm gonna have him roll something real fast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to warn you before I do it. I need you to make I'm going to want you to make a sleight of hand check against Tisiphane's passive perception. And I want to be very clear before you roll that die that if you fail, you are interfering with the result of a trial. Thank you, music.
Am I able to give myself guidance?
Yes.
Let's
Can you
do
give
this.
yourself Bardic?
I cannot give myself Bardic. Sleight of hand?
Allie, this might be the end of your character. You know that, right?
Do I see this happening?
Sure.
I'd like to polymorph Callista into a sparrow.
Like interrupting what she's doing? Like
Yes.
stopping it?
As soon as I see her disappear, I'm going to assume that she's up to no good.
What do I have
Allie,
to roll?
are you going to try to resist polymorph?
A wisdom
What do I have
save.
to roll?
Wisdom save of 15.
Let's try. Let's see it.
This is how we turn on each other, guys.
That's a 9.
You warp over. Pythor opens his mouth to say something to you, and then you are transformed. Euphemia reaches out, and no sooner are you a little bird than you feel a gust of wind blowing you back towards the others. And Tisiphone turns and looks around and just misses seeing you as Kyra just pulls the wind back and brings you back into... Euphemia, do you want to catch her?
If she'll let me.
Will you let her? Are you going to let either of them catch you?
I think I'm too startled to really think about it. So yeah.
This is compassionate PvP. This is incredible.
And a squirrel appears from nowhere.
You fly there, and Kyra looks at you and says, "I'm sorry. This can't be the end of 2 chapters at once. 2 stories at once. I can't." She looks at Euphemia and doesn't say anything at all. Pythor is dragged off into the darkness. You hear laughter, malicious cackling and glee, and then a scream, and then a screech and squeal of a wild animal that fades away into nothing and dark. And in the best case scenario, that is the last you'll see of Pythor for a very long time. Megara looks at all of you and says, "You've accomplished something here today. Be proud of yourself. I hope you took plenty of notes," she says to Kyra, and she says, "And I hope that when you write these stories, the lesson is perfectly clear." And she pushes up, wings batting, as she flies. And one by one, each of you looks around and sees yourself on the deck of the ship. In the middle of the clear night, the 4 of you and Kyra.
I'll drop polymorph.
I'm just gonna throw the card on the ground.
I'm
Iki
sorry.
will just fall to her knees with her hand in front of her mouth to like cover a sob.
Gamerbot, I'm going to take a guess and say that Allie was putting a familiar item on them so that they can use divination magic to track the boar very easily. Allie, if you had failed that sleight of hand, I would have genuinely considered turning you into a boar and slaughtering that boar right now. I love what you were doing. I think it was a very clever idea that I would have rewarded if you had succeeded. But if you had failed, I would have followed through on everything I've been setting up about the Furies.
Then I have
So-
to say, Reed, thank you for making that 8 resisting your saving throw.
I was.
It would have been like a 10.
Because I was going to make that. Yeah, I was saying basically that this was going to be, maybe this would interfere with what we had just done, and they would take it out on Pythor,
Maybe.
and that would be bad.
No, the second she said she was doing that, I was in my head. The second Allie said she was doing that, I was going over in my head, is Callista going to be removed from the campaign for the foreseeable future, or is she going to be dead? Those were the two options in my head the moment you stepped over there.
I guess we didn't get a chance to really clarify, like, is there anything that if we find the boar that's Pythor, could we do anything to help bolster his mind so that when he makes the wisdom saving throws, he'd be like,
I'm not sticking to them in a very literal sense. I just mean over time he's becoming more feral. But also that he's probably going to be a wild boar by the end of the month, but then at the end of the 35 days, his mind will be restored whenever this is undone.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to play it very
no
fast.
way, and there's no way we can find him. He's just, him or Sidon, they're just on the continent somewhere.
It's up to you. Allie already enacted a plan. Like, whatever ideas you guys have, you can come up with. Valis thinks she can do it. Bottom of the card was being used for divination magic purposes to locate the boar more easily. Would you believe me if I said that went better than I expected?
Oh, I betcha.
And Allie was Allie's a human now, or satyr again, and Allie was taking a note from the end of season 1 of The Good Place, and I recognized it immediately, and it was fucking great. Kyra's just sort of standing there and just says, Callista, can I borrow some of the notes you wrote for the trial?
I'll just shove them into her hands.
Thanks.
I'm going to go comfort Kiki.
Kyra just gets to work writing down everything that happened, checking her notes with Callista to document everything, and just doing her job. Kiki, is there anything you want to do?
I will have started sobbing, but it will also sort of turn into like some hysterical mixture of laughter and crying. My dad's a literal pig right now. I guess some people might have been right about him. Oh my God. What if he likes life better as a pig? What if we can't find him? Just like little hysterical thoughts, like shifting between laughing and crying.
We have to trust in Valis. She has reached out to me. She knows what's going on. She's on her way already to work at finding Pythor and getting him to safety. We've done what we can do, and we've managed to at least temporarily take Sidon off the board.
Should we try to find Sidon and kill him?
I don't think it's worth the amount of time that it would take to find him. And honestly, if we just said, be on the lookout for a weird boar and kill it if you'd like, or putting out a bounty for something, we'd be just as likely to end up catching Pythor as Sidon.
Do you think maybe you could write a letter? I don't know how much Pythor would have told Honora about this, but I think she probably needs to know. And maybe we could get what's that little siren's name? Oh my god. To deliver it for us, the one Valis gave us, the necklace to summon her. Arena?
I'm gonna kind of brush past you on my way to storm off, and I will pause in front of Kiki, and I will hand her one of my paper birds. Silently.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I know you were trying to help. I appreciate that.
And I'll leave.
What?
I put my hand on Kiki's back. Just kind of like, just kind of rub her shoulder a bit. And then I stalk off. Yeah, there. And then I just don't say a word. I just stalk off to the back of the ship.
I'll just kind of gather my wits about me, and stand up and just kind of look at the little paper bird and just kind of smile, look at Euphemian. You know how this thing works? But I will want to write down a note for Honora and have it sent off to her.
You're gonna hear some thudding, heavy, clumsy feet as Bulbug comes up the stairs holding an egg. And he looks at those of you that are on the steps, or on the top, and says, so, and he looks around looking for Pythor, and then just looks at you and goes, so. That's all he says.
Believe it or not, this is a win.
I've seen the losses, so I believe it.
Isn't that supposed to be on the fire?
Well, yeah, but this was like okay. Well, I promise this is occasion because you were here, and I just wanted. Okay, I gotta go, and he just goes back downstairs.
Find Callista. So I think she's going to need some comfort.
All right, Egg, we're gonna leave you alone for a second. You're gonna be all right there, okay?
I'll come down to the kitchen.
Okay, Euphemian's gonna be with you in a moment. And he just walks downstairs.
I'm going to also head off. I'm going to follow him down to the kitchen. And I'm just going to start cooking.
He turns and looks at you and says, I'm gonna check on Callista, but do you need anything?
If you could get me some flour from the stores.
No, do you need anything?
I'm good.
Right, I'll get you the flour then. And he grabs you like a bag of flour and just sort of thunks it on the table next to you. Because is that good? That enough?
That's plenty.
All right. I haven't baked in a while. I mean, I have, but like not. All right, I'll be back.
Well, Bug bakes. Oh.
Just throwing layers onto this character that's supposed to be in there for 5 minutes. Those of you that are new, Bulbug was supposed to be in one sad scene in one episode, and things have fucking escalated. Before I get to that, Craven, is there anything that you want to do? Because you've been a little quiet. I want to make sure you have a chance to do things.
I'm going to go and take out, because I said I stalked off to the back, I'm going to take out my sending stone over to Seema and say to her, well, the best outcome to the Fury's wrath has turned Pythor into a boar. Somewhere on the mainland. if you can, try to find him.
Okay, is that the whole thing?
Yeah, that's all my 25 words.
I mean, I don't think the boar would have his beard to make him easily recognizable.
No, I know. It's a long shot, but that's all
How
Cray can
about-
do to help.
Yeah. But how about banning boar hunting for like a month and 5 days? I know
I don't
it
know
saves Sidon too, but
I don't know if she has that kind of power. That's
Well.
Valis's thing.
Maybe among the Thieves Guild, at least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can always send her a message tomorrow.
He sends you back and says, I am so sorry, my love. I will do what I can to find him. We'll do everything we can. We promise. Thinking of you. Anything else you want to do, Cray?
I just clutch it and just sigh.
Kiki, for various pacing purposes that I hope will be understandable, I will come back to you last. Callista Bulbug comes and checks in on you and says,
I, for the record, when he comes to find me,
Mhm.
I am in the captain's quarters. And I am bloody.
okay, will you please clarify what that means?
So I just rolled a con save against Shatter. I walked into the captain's quarters, screamed, and cast Shatter right in the center of the room. And then I failed my save. So I take 3d8.
Does Shatter hit yourself?
It's each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point.
Oh, shit. How much damage did you do?
Ooh, 13 plus 4, 17 points of
17 damage.
thunder damage, specifically.
So take thunder damage, and things are broken in this cavern. Then we're going to rewind a little bit. When this is shattered and broken and the room is tossed about, it is all silent for a little bit. Most of the sound in here is, muffled to the rest of the ship. If you're trying to hurt me, that's one of the less creative attempts, Callista.
Shut up, right now. It has nothing to do with you. You are insignificant and meaningless. Shut your mouth. And then I'm just going to start throwing anything I can reach against the walls.
The more you throw, the more you hear laughter, and the more you hear, say please. Say please. I'll be quiet for a little bit.
Just screaming and throwing things.
Pathetic. Pythor. Bulbug opens the door. That would have been a twist. Bulbug opens the door. And just immediately goes, Callie, Calista comes over and just as you're throwing things, tries to restrain you from throwing these things, and just goes, What are you doing? What is going on? And you hear this laughing. What's up?
I'm gonna do that thing that you see in movies and shit where I'm hitting him now. But I don't even know if I should bother making an attack roll.
Yeah, no doubt. You're just punching him and hitting him, and he's just looking down okay, Callista, I get what you're trying to do here. I get what it represents. Okay, I know some metaphors. Can you just what's going on? And you hear this voice that says, "Oh, right, some of you survived. Hello." And Bulbug goes, because Bulbug hasn't met them before, if I'm correct, right?
I don't think so.
And Bulbug just looks up and says, "The hell is that?" And he goes, "The owner of the ship itself, Esther Arcalanter." And Bulbug goes, "Who?" And Esther goes, "Esther Arcalanter, the Dragonlord. The one who slaughtered the Minotaurs." And Bulbug just says, "Oh yeah, we didn't write down that name."
Okay, now I'm laughing.
And there's just silence for a moment. And Bulbug looks to Callista and says, "What do you need right now?"
Just hold me.
Oh.
Can we do it somewhere else?
Please.
Yeah, okay. It was good talking to you, Elmer. And he leads Callista out of the room.
Oh my god. If I weren't this squad, I would propose right now.
And he closes the door. And he says, he closes the door and he sort of whispers to you low. He goes, "When I get back to Stygian Row, I'm going to tell them what I said to Esther Arcalanter." And he leads you back to walk away and holds you.
That's why he's our mascot. Bull for bull.
Yep.
Kiki, where are you and what are you doing right now?
I will have started following Euphemia into the kitchen, but then I'll realize that I need a quill, so I'll have gone back to where he keeps his stuff and basically just pick out a quill to use, check on Arcades, make sure he's still all curled up because now he's happy. He's got the bed to himself. Make sure he's okay. And then I'm just going to go into the kitchen as well. And then while Euphemia's cooking, I'm just going to write out the letter explaining to Honora what's happened. And that supposedly our aunt is going to be trying to take care of this, so not to worry. Just hold down the fort for him. If anybody asks, he's just away on something, whatever his normal excuse might be. And then we'll keep her in the loop as we find out more. And if she can, maybe put a stop or a ban on any type of boar hunting. Make it illegal temporarily or something, just to try and help ensure his safety, because we don't know where he is, but we want to try to do what we can.
I love this. I will take this note and I will see it off. As you write down this on this paper bird, send it off, and it flies.
Yeah, however this works.
You fold, basically, when you're done writing it, it folds itself into an origami bird and flutters away. It will take a few days to get there, but it's very literally at a bird's pace. This will deliver itself.
Okay.
As it heads off, to do this and leaving you alone. Show of hands, who approves of me fast forwarding to the next day?
I just want to put one thing in. Euphemian is making pancakes. And so,
I don't... Yes. I'm going to message you a thing.
Not gator
Not bacon. I was gonna say not bacon because I don't think Kiki will be able to have bacon, see bacon, or even hear bacon. for the next 35 days until she knows her father's okay.
Oh my
And if
god.
you want to help make sure her father's okay, please use your bacon channel points for extra support. Remember, the more bacon that we put out there, the more likely Pythor is to come home one way or another.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Reed, I really did love what you were saying, and yeah, if you guys did not interfere, they would have just been eternally tortured. So this is significantly better. But you did also roll 2 nat 1, so I wanted to give you less than what you asked for.
That would have been just sweet if, like, one was a traveler race and one was the native race. Oh, would have been
Allie, that idea
Yeah.
was fucking great. That idea was great, and I would have given it serious consideration if it weren't the nat ones. That was phenomenal. You guys did that trial great. So
The dice had a story to tell.
That's right.
Always.
show of hands, who's okay with me going to the next day? All right.
Kitty
All right,
paw
that's
too.
okay. That's 4. That's 3 humans and a kitty. So everybody in the chat, we have 3 people that just said no bacon. This is incredible. We have a priority.
Change the number, Ben?
I realize it'll be
Yeah, do
hard.
Do it. Change number 34. I was really tempted to have Pythor drink him last night, but I think he wanted to have one more victory.
Oh.
How is Clotho, by the way?
Are you asking about her ability to walk the next day? I mean, my God.
Uh-huh.
Clotho gloriously cannot. Clotho sent word. Clotho would have sent Lorius to go make a big show of asking any clerics and healers on board to help her because she's going to be resting for a day or 2.
Oh God.
Thank you, Fabian. That's with a D, not an S, Fatima, but yeah. You guys, the next day, I was watching Allie's screen waiting for her to get it. The next day, the morning, 34. I don't know the days exactly, but I want to do it this way anyway. You see in the distance, near enough, as you get closer, an island that is far less of its own warm, storied land than you've ever seen on the others. There's very little green here. There are no birds. There are no sounds. It is a bleak and rocky place. As you get close, you can hear the rain fall, almost surrounding this island. Any green you can see is sparse, dotted amongst the gray stone, the sea, the overcast sky. Rocky cliffs surround almost the entire land. There's just one small bay where you can make landfall. Occasionally a bird cries, but besides that, all is silent. And I like to break the fourth wall and do those title screens, as I say, when we get to these places. And you would see the island of the Fates. I will allow each of you an action of your own kind before I close out this session, since it's 10. And I have a little bit to add of my own, if that's okay with you. Who wants to go first?
After I've given Callista a chance to cool off, I'm going to track her down in the morning.
Okay. I'll take this, Reed. What do you want to say to Callista?
I'm going to say that I hope you understand why I did what I did.
3 words out of his mouth, and I'm just going to throw myself onto him and hug him.
Oh.
Your heart was in the right place, but it doesn't feel like it, but that was sort of a win.
I know. I'm supposed to be the convincing one. I couldn't even talk.
Maybe if I'd had half your talent, I could have managed my first idea.
It was so good, too.
But it's a month. Even as a pig, Pythor can survive a month.
Yeah. Thank you, Euphemian.
I think we're here.
Did we ever get the story?
I don't think so.
If you can ask Kyra and she'll tell you in a little bit. She wasn't in a storytelling mood.
Shocking.
I'm gonna give Kiki and Cray a chance, and then Callista. Technically, that wasn't your action, so I'll come back to you in a second. But Kiki or Cray, do you want to do something?
Nope. I'm okay. A little solemn, a little quiet in the morning, but nothing that I want to do or need to do.
I think Prelude might send another message to Seema to say something about just careful about eating pigs or any of that. Don't want to get Pythor. But then he's going to take his little satchel of bacon that Kiki gave him, and he's just going to put it away for the 35 days.
I mean, you can empty it in secret.
Well, he's already eaten all the bacon that's in it and then puts it away.
Oh.
He figures, heck, you know what? Listen, it's like doing a dry January, okay? If you gotta go, just go crazy for the Christmas and New Year's, and then dry January. You know what I mean? So he's going dry on bacon for 35 days.
Oh my God, he's gonna be such a grump. We already have an episode called Withdrawals. We can't have another one, Cray.
Wow.
Oh no.
You're gonna get a message back from Seema that says, "It's a wonderful coincidence, but just this morning I became a vegan. Stars are watching out for us. Good morning, Craven. Unless there's something that you want to do."
Yeah. After my talk with Euphemian, I will go find Kyra.
All right, you find Kyra, and she's looking, and she's got her skull. She goes, "All right, did you all decide who you want to bring there, or are you bringing someone there, or what did you want to do?"
I'm just gonna hug her and say, I'm sorry.
And she's gonna hug you and says, "I don't think he'd want you to be sorry. He was pretty clear on the no regrets thing."
What a time to be at the Bard, huh?
I am gonna tell every one of his stories. And to be honest, he's gonna sound like a bastard, but I'm gonna tell the stories because he was still a god.
I am going to grab her hands and try to stealthily slip a Pythor card into her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to say, I have to tell you what Bullbug said to Esther last night.
How'd that go? Do you want to fade out there?
Yeah.
We're going to fade out there. As you guys are here, and the recent events of the battle, of everything that led up to this, really. When you think about it, the battle on the Fire Island, the appearance of Sidon and Pythor clashing blades, and the feast of the night before, and the trial with the Furies, and Euphemian speaking, and then the wailing all around, and Pythor dragged away like an animal on a leash, Sidon held in ropes and thrown down. All of you on this ship mournfully moving ahead. And all the scenes before that, woven into the tapestry on the loom, in the middle of the Island of the Fates. As one of the Fates looks at it and says, "Oh, good. It's time." And that's where we'll end this session.
Oh my god. Okay.
Ominous.
No.
Thank you all for joining this session. I appreciate it. I am sorry. How's everyone doing? We're gonna do brief aftercare before I head off.
Yeah,
Not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Bad enough, but not as bad. So thank you for that.
Yeah. There's nothing Cray could do.
I'm gonna put in the chat images of Sidon's kids that were mentioned. It's not going to be relevant for a very long time, as I'm sure you can imagine. But these are the two that I talked about.
Speaking of
and I'm sorry.
Power move.
That was great. I seriously considered that. I seriously considered Chelsea like bonding with Euphemian over that. I said it's slightly not who she is.
He looks like Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks like Khal Drogo or
when I posted Tellius, I need to also post an apology to all of the gays because that man. Anyway.
Actually.
Yeah, that was intense. So those are the Furies, and thank you all for this. And then next week it's the Fates. And for some of you that are new, each of the characters, just as context for you, each of the 4 players has their own personal arc that's baked into the game, and 2 of them have arcs that are supposed to advance when they visit the Island of the Fates. So this is a big thing that's happening here. Did you guys have anything you want to say before you want to head out?
I think next week you guys are doing the 7 Seas.
Right. Okay, that's a big thing to mention. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So the plan right now, and Jen cannot make it next week. She
Sorry
has
to leave it at such a cliffhanger. Ooh.
She needs to be fighting Lex Luthor. It's a whole thing. But what was I gonna say? We are gonna try and meet next week. If we can work things out, we're gonna be doing a different game that is not this campaign, called 7th Sea. It's a different action. It's a different system. It's more based on swashbuckling dramatics and theatrics, less combat strategy and more Pirates of the Caribbean. It's actually what's designed to simulate The Princess Bride, if you can believe it. So we're trying to play that. I'm gonna see if I can weave it into this campaign.
Ooh.
I need to look at the story. I need to see if I can do it. If I can't, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try. I want it to be something that's happening on a ship elsewhere, because there are ships, like you've seen on the sea very rarely. But so if you tune in next week, it'll be a mostly non-canonical one-shot. But thank you all for joining. Like, follow, subscribe. Reed puts these on YouTube if you want to catch up on all the episodes. We have all of the episodes on YouTube. Most of them, except for the ones that I destroyed when I'm very bad at my job. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
One other thing, Tammy was kind enough to go through and do an upload of all of her notes to the wiki. So if you do want to go through and just get a quick summary of what has happened up until now,
especially those 4 missing episodes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those are available on our wiki, and you can sort of catch yourself up on what has happened. So that's going to be roll-4-bull.fandom.com.
And one last thing, my one request for the 7th Sea, could you find a Denny, or not a Denny's, a Wendy's? There are 4, apparently. So I most certainly hope that you have a Wendy's.
We made a joke about a drive-through on the ocean a week, 2 weeks ago.
Excellent.
We're gonna get Frosties.
Are you guys on fanfic yet? First of all, Kyra does write fan fiction of them. She actually, I haven't mentioned it in a long time. Is it a golden scroll? She has a specific golden scroll she uses for silver. She has a silver scroll that she uses to write fanfic of various levels of smuttiness on the heroes that she separates to make sure it's canon. Not that's remembered as not canon. But if anybody does write fan fiction on AO3 or anything, let us know, please.
Yep.
Please.
We're down for as smutty as you want to, because we're perverts as well.
If you write a fan fiction, I'm giving inspiration to anybody that's mentioned in it.
Honestly, if you think about it, I mean, for all of my comments, Cray is probably pretty depraved. Probably, poor Seema.
Well, we're gonna leave that up to Fatima now. So, thank you all for coming. I'm gonna go. I've been DM Incompetence. You have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you,
for all your help.
everyone.
Bye.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.